It's your girl, Trendy with Sharice. I'm back with another video. Please do like and subscribe. So as you see, your girl is finna to react to Judge Hatchett. So let's see what's really going on.
The verdict with Judge Hatchett. Manny Brooks is suing his ex-girlfriend Dana Williams in the amount of $14,479.12. Mr. Brooks claims Ms. Williams lied about him being the father of her child, so he would cover her mommy makeover expenses.
Wow. So she did finessed him out of $14,000 and gave him this illusion that he was the baby daddy. She cold-blooded.
The defendant, how do you know her?
Your Honor, she is my ex-girlfriend, and, well, it didn't end well.
It did not end well.
No.
That's always a story in my courtroom. When I have an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend over here suing, you know, it's always a story. Judge, it just didn't end well. So how did you all meet? Tell me about the relationship, and then I'm going to get to why you're suing her.
We met about 2 years ago at a club in Atlanta. I don't normally go, but I did this day. For whatever reason, I did, and I saw her there. Of course, as you can see, she's very gorgeous. And so, you know, I stepped up to her and I asked her if she wanted to dance. And then after that, one thing led to another. And we started, you know, talking a little bit. After we started talking, find out a couple weeks later she's pregnant. Now, I don't know about...
His mama or his daddy did not teach him the game to recognize that if you start dating a female and 2 weeks later she pop up pregnant, that you need to take a DNA test after she have the baby. Because 9 out of 10, she was already pregnant before she met you. And to be honest to you, the times we live in today, a man better recognize that if you've been with that chick for years, still get the DNA test when she had a baby. Know your rights. Just like we got rights, y'all got rights too.
Pregnancies at the time, you know. I'm like,
so
hey.
Clearly you all were doing more than talking.
A little bit more.
I mean, you weren't just talking and dancing. You all were doing more than, if you know, a couple weeks later she says, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Then clearly this was a relationship that became intimate very quickly.
Yes.
Let's just keep it real here.
Okay.
All right, so a couple of weeks after you all started seeing each other, she is pregnant. So you all meet in the club. Talk to me about this initial encounter from your perspective.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I was hosting the club that night, and Manny approached me due to the fact that he follows me on social media. That's in turn what I do, social media influence.
First of all, he did not. Who said that? Did you just make that up in your mind like you made up that he was the baby daddy? Because I do not remember him saying he followed you on social media, so that's why he went up to you. Ooh, she need to stop gloating over herself.
You do what?
Social media influencer and model as well.
Influencer. Social media influencer. All right, go ahead.
And model as well. So we struck up a conversation. He's a really nice guy. And at the time, I was on and off. I've been on and off with my ex-boyfriend since high school, but Manny was different. So we definitely connected in more ways than one.
All right, so you all started seeing each other, but you have been on and off, as you explained it, with your ex-boyfriend, and you all have been on and off since you were in high school. So this has been going on for a while.
Very much so.
So now you all connect, and 2 weeks later, you tell him you're pregnant?
It wasn't 2 weeks.
So in other words, the dude that she been fooling with this whole entire time, he lied to be the baby daddy, but she already knew that he wasn't going to do the right thing. So like she said, he a good man. So that's what they always do. They have babies by Pookies and Ray Rays. Then they look for the good guy to come and rescue them.
It was about a month, but that's not better either. But it was a very short period of time.
Short period of time.
We jumped into it. He was definitely not a rebound, but a positive distraction from my situation with the ex.
All right, so now she says to you, I'm pregnant, and what was your response?
At first, you know, I had hoped if it was mine, that it would be, but I didn't believe it at first. You know, we hadn't been together that long. We only, you know, we only had sex a couple of times, so...
Only takes once.
That's true.
First of all, they kill me with the, it only takes once. Yeah, and it takes her to be over there sleeping with her Pookie and Ray Ray ex a couple of times too to get her pregnant. Like, don't play these games. Like, the man that already told you he ain't the damn daddy. Don't sit here and try to play these mind games with him. Because you see how, I could have been Judge Hatchett because I'd have corrected Miss fake girlfriend over here. Talking about something, he was a great distraction. Y'all always want to use the good guys and throw them to the wolves after you get done with them. Like, make it make sense.
So did you ask her that? Did you say, listen, is this my baby?
I did.
And what did you say?
That conversation never happened, Your Honor.
It never happened.
We were very, very much together 85% of the time. So he initially, when we found out...
So with the other 85%, okay, so you said 85% of the time y'all was together? 85%, so what was the other 15% at? Oh, yeah, smashing Pookie and Ray Ray.
Very surprised, as was I. So I went to him, as everyone would. So what do you want to do? He asked what was I thinking as well. And due to the fact that I didn't really want to, abort, we decided to have the child. So the question of paternity didn't turn up until after Isaiah was born.
Wait. This is a new relationship. And it never came up?
It never came up until after I had the child.
Oh, it did. It came up. Because we brought up the ex-boyfriend a couple times, actually.
Did he talk to you about the ex-boyfriend? It's hard for me to believe that it didn't come up. That's what I'm having.
Right.
I'm really having a tough time believing that.
Right, but he also wouldn't have stood up and been there if he had any doubts either, which is why I'm
You see how she tried to finesse the judge by not answering the question? She heard exactly what she asked her. But just like she thought she could finesse him, but she did. You can't finesse Judge Hatchett, but we're going to see if you can.
The truth as far as this goes, he was concerned about the ex relationship only because he didn't want to go any further with me if it was still on, but it was very much off. When I found out I was pregnant, it was only Manny, and that was just what it was, and he had trust and faith in me.
So did y'all catch what she just said? She said when she found out she was pregnant. So you saying basically you still, did anybody catch that? That means you still sleeping with Pookie and Ray Ray then. Judge Hatchett better call this out. But if she don't, it's okay because I just did.
And the paternity didn't come up until after he saw the baby, and he was like...
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
She says she hasn't done anything with him, so maybe it is mine. It must
Stop right there. Did you say that you had not been involved sexually with the ex-boyfriend?
I never told him that, Your Honor.
You never told him that?
I never told him that.
The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Manny Brooks, who is suing Dana Williams for an unpaid loan.
Two very different stories in here. So now, what was your attitude during the time that she was pregnant? Were you supportive? Were you excited? I mean, tell me what was going on.
I was very much supportive. After we did have the conversation about the ex, which did happen, I thought about it and I said, well, maybe it is mine. She says she hasn't done anything with him, so maybe it is mine. It must
Stop right there. Did you say that you had not been involved sexually with the ex-boyfriend?
I never told him that, Your Honor.
You never told him that?
I never told him that.
It's so different. This is very different.
So at the end of the day, she was still sleeping with Pookie and Ray Ray. Now she want to get in front of Judge Hatchett and try to finesse her. But boo-boo, you can't finesse real women. You can only finesse dummies. Like the dude you just finessed.
All right, so then what happens?
So after the conversation about all that, and I decided, okay, it must be mine. I decided to man up, do what I need to do. So anything she needed, I tried to support her.
Is that true?
It is.
And, we tried the relationship thing. We actually decided, okay, let's try and do it. We're going to have a child, then, let's actually try to work it out. From there, we just continue, day-to-day stuff. We had separate housing, though. But if she needed, money for bills and stuff like that, I would help her out.
That's true?
Yes, it is.
All right.
And then the baby came. After the baby came, it was maybe about 3 months in or so. I'd had enough, family folks telling me, hey, the baby doesn't really look like you. You might want to check into that a little bit more.
Yes, Your Honor, is actually, not to cut him off, it was actually 6 months.
Okay, so the baby's here, and people are saying, wait a minute, this baby doesn't look anything like you, Manny. And what was your response?
My response, and that was 6 months, not 3. I was taken aback, but I understood. He wanted to go. I did put up an argument because I was offended.
Why were you offended?
Because
they killed me with that. How you offended? We know it's your baby, right? Because you had the freaking baby. Don't be ignorant. Of course, any man should be concerned. I don't care if he's been with you for 20 years. He needs to be concerned because we're going to always recognize it's your baby. But what they say, daddy's maybe.
He made it seem as if I was possibly involved with more people than the possible ex who we had already discussed. So he's like, who have you been with? Like, this baby don't look like me, I have a strong nose, all of this extra stuff. So I was offended, and but I ended up saying, okay, you want to go? Let's go.
Well, before we get to that part, before we get to the part about getting the baby tested, because people are saying to you, wait a minute, Manny, this baby doesn't look anything like you. I think you need to find out whether this child is yours. The reason you're in my courtroom today is because you're suing for more than $14,000. Tell me why.
So around the same time that I was getting those rumors, I guess you want to say rumors from friends and family, saying, hey, the baby's not yours, at the same time that she had got the surgery done.
What kind of surgery?
So the surgery she got done, she got a tummy tuck. I believe she got maybe some breast augmentation, and I think there was something else.
Did you have some surgery done?
I did, yes, sir.
And why? Why was it necessary for her to have the surgery?
Well, she said she wanted to make sure she, still looked about the same because of her social media influence. She noticed that when she was pregnant, that her social media followings, it kind of went down a little bit. And because I wanted to make sure
She finessed him out of money. She finessed him by taking care of her baby, knowing dang well that the baby was by Pookie and Ray Ray. Man, somebody need to truly pull his coattail and teach him the game. And hopefully after this, he'll recognize and understand that no matter what relationship he in, that if he has a baby with a female, DNA test.
had everything she needed for her job so she could provide for a child. I made sure, okay, if you needed extra money for this, I'll help you do that. And when she presented the surgery to me, I said, okay, how much do you need? And then from there, she told me what she needed. She went for the consultation, and then we went and got it done.
Now, also, you mentioned that you were a model.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is not just the social media piece, influencer, but you earn a living by being a model.
Yes.
And so the idea was that you needed to have the surgery to get back to where you were before you had the baby.
Right.
All right, so what was the understanding about this money for the surgery?
Well, during, I want to say my second trimester, that's when I started to notice the following just plummet. There were no more sponsorships being handed out to me. So I voiced my concern, as well as funds started to get a bit lower, and that's when he stepped in and helped me out whenever I needed him to. And I mentioned, yeah, once I drop this baby, I really need to do, because I'm no exerciser.
She saw the writing on the wall. Pookie and Ray Ray was not going to take care of her, so she needed a new option, and he was the new option. He was green, so she finessed him.
To be honest. So I said, I want to just get a mommy makeover.
So you want a mommy makeover?
Right. And he said, oh, I got you, just let me know. And I was like, thank you, So once I had Isaiah.
So we're talking a major mommy makeover. We're talking $14,479.12 to be exact.
Right. I was a boat. So it took that much to get me down to size. So when Isaiah was 3 months, I went in for the consultation, and that's when the procedure happened.
All right, so now why are you suing her for this money today?
So I'm suing her because the money was a loan. In my opinion, it was a loan. I told her that, I would give her what she needed so that I could help her with, her business, her job. I didn't say, hey, I'm just giving you the money. I'm saying, hey, I can help you out with this. And it was under the impression that this child was mine.
Coming up.
You never raised the possibilities with Manny. It wasn't like you hadn't seen your ex in 6 months or 6 weeks. You had just seen him. And so the question really becomes, did you set him up?
The verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Manny Brooks, who is suing Dana Williams for an unpaid loan.
What happened when you went and had the DNA test done by Isaiah? What happened?
So when we went and did the test, they found out that Isaiah is now my son. Yeah, it hurt because, I started to form a bond with him. And, that it stirred something in me, and I really...
And by the way, if he's intelligent, we're going to find out in a minute if he's still a boo-boo the food. We're going to find out. Because once you find out it's not yours, don't do it. Do not try to take care of it. Don't try to love it. Because when she move on and find a new Pookie and Ray Ray, she going to snatch the baby up. And then this time, it's going to hurt double. Because it's not yours. So you ain't got no rights to it. So don't be boo-boo the fool. But we're going to find out if you're going to be boo-boo the fool twice.
I almost felt like I've been played,
And when he asked you about your ex, which I can't believe a man in this situation didn't ask you about your ex, that you basically said, oh, no. But clearly, you had been with somebody in very close proximity to the time that you were with him, and that's who got you pregnant. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you say, listen, Manny, let me tell you, I've been with somebody else, I'm with you now, and so this may not be your child. Why not say that? It wasn't like you hadn't seen your ex in 6 months or 6 weeks. You had just seen him, right? And then a few weeks after having been with Manny, you say, I'm pregnant. And so the question really becomes, did you set him up?
Coming up.
It's been cordial since.
You got pregnant by the other guy. And you probably didn't know exactly who got you pregnant at first. But you didn't do what was right to tell Manny, this may not be your child. Because if you'd done what was right, you would have had Isaiah tested the minute that child was born. You played him. And had he not asked for the testing, which then you got, quote unquote, offended by, he'd still be assuming that this child was his. And you knew in your heart of...
She better than me. I'd have laid them. First of all, I wouldn't have gave no speech because I'd have made her answer to my questions. You're not going to just think, I'm going to just say this, and you ain't finna, I'm not finna hold you accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable because you're going to have to say something. I ain't finna just talk this thug life to you and then you think you just gonna be looking like you over there fake crying. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Like, you finessed that man because you saw, like I said, you saw the writing on the wall. He gullible. And I'm finna finesse him. You a bird. Like AQ be saying. Shout out to AQ. You a bird and you don't need no crumbs.
There's a possibility that it wasn't. That's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And what do you say to Isaiah when he's old enough to understand all of this? Because this is the only father he's known. So, Manny, what's happening with you now? And I'm getting ready to rule on this case. What's happening with you now?
Well, now I'm just trying to make sure my employees are still getting paid everything, with the loans, how they were set up. It took a toll on the business.
And what kind of business do you have?
I have a custom auto repair shop.
What do you have to say to him today before I rule on this case? What do you have to say to him?
I've said over the last few months to a year, Your Honor, how appreciative I am of him and how deeply sorry I am for the time invested, for the heartache, for everything. It's been cordial since.
Has it?
Cordial?
See, that's how you know she living in an illusion and she still didn't want to hold herself accountable. I'd have been on her neck. Judge Hatchett too sweet. She too cute. She too kind. I'd have been on her neck. I didn't ask you what you did months ago, years ago. No, helper. I asked you what you need to say to him now. Answer the question. You see how she still didn't hold this helper accountable? She didn't finesse this man out of $14,000. Lied to him, made him think that this was his baby, and you just gonna let her sit there and blank her little eyeballs at you and be like, well, I did tell him, and we been cordial. What? Hold the heifer accountable. Hold her accountable. Because if you won't, I will.
Only when I see Isaiah.
So you still have a relationship with him?
Yes.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return.
Yeah, he boo-boo the fool. Why the heck is you... First of all, don't do it. I'm sorry if this might hurt some people's feelings, but don't do it. Especially if you just said you're not even really cordial with her like that, but you still gonna be a part of the baby life. Don't do it. You gonna get hurt in the end, dude. Listen to me. You're gonna get hurt in the end when she go find a new Pookie and Ray Ray. Don't do it.
You're a good man. That's the right thing. You're a good man.
No, it
You're
ain't.
a good man.
No, it ain't.
Well, you have to live with this. I think you set him up, but assuming for a minute that you didn't tell him the truth. And that lie created all of this. And that's what I need you to understand. That lie really, really changed everything. And that's what I need you to understand. He deserved better. He really did. And you got to live with this. I am going to enter judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $14,500. I'm going to round up the few pennies here. Should do a little bit more than that because the interest is accrued. We're going to do a straight $15,000 for the plaintiff. Under these circumstances, you owe him the money. I don't care how you get it. Go out and get a loan, go mortgage, whatever you have. But this man is going to get $15,000 because this was not right. There's nothing further. We'll stand adjourned. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $15,000.
All rise. Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $15,000.
Manny, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry for everything that I've done to you, and I'll make sure that you get your $15,000 paid in full as soon as possible.
I accept your apology. And I'll always be there for Isaiah.
Shoot, you stupid. You see, he boo-booed the fool twice. Why are you doing that? Seriously, like you're blessed to be at a point to where you found out before the baby was 1, 2, 3, and 4. She could have finessed you to the point to where the baby was 5, 6, and then I ain't gonna lie. Then I would understand you wanting to hold on. Then I wouldn't have the same outlook. But the fact that the baby wasn't even a year, you better run. Don't do it. And to her, she a bird. She forever for the streets. And he couldn't recognize that because, again, his mom and daddy didn't teach him the game. So he couldn't see a bird when it was right there in front of him looking for crumbs. So, and another thing, Judge Hatchett, you need to do better at episodes like this when a woman didn't finesse the man out his money and then tricked him into thinking that he a baby daddy and he ain't. But if you like to see me, break down some more reaction when it comes to like Judge Mathis, Judge Hathis, she didn't make, see, that's why I messed up her name right there. Because she ain't got on my nerves. Judge Hatchett didn't got on my nerves. I done fumbled the name twice. That lets you know she ain't doing the job. I ain't fumbled Judge Mathis' name, god dang it. I need to do a video on Judge Maybelline. But until then, your girl is out.